initially that dream was just spoken of in pubs and meeting houses, initially at just a whisper. Then that whisper got just a little bit louder and a little bit louder. And for that dream to take fruition and to become reality, it required a call to duty, to serve with honor, and to put your country first. Duty, honor, country. Everybody here that's ever served knows that in your heart and in your head. It may have been a long time since the government said, okay, you're free to go and kind of do what you want to do with your own time now. But that sense of duty, honor, and country never leaves you, and its evidence of that is all around me, out in front of me here today. As I was thinking more about what I might say to the group this weekend, and get my paper up here, I happened to stumble across a little bit of news that I was reading, and I got this off the internet. It's called The Conversation, and this took place just a couple of days ago on the Today Show. It says, this is a person reporting, "This morning I was watching the Today Show and caught a segment on why Europeans are better at life than Americans. Examples they gave were cheese, and vacation time. Then they struggled to think of something Americans could do better than Europeans. And the discussion was accompanied by a chyron that read, well, American exceptionalism. Sometimes I think, Matt Lauer suggested, binge TV watching is something we do better. Then someone suggested cheese, says, I think we actually have some pretty good cheese. And then Savannah Guthrie says sarcastically, I like Velveeta. That's what they came up with when they were talking about American exceptionalism. I think that's pretty pathetic. Matter of fact, I don't even want to hold that piece of paper. Because I think symbols of American exceptionalism are all around us. American exceptionalism is portrayed in that Vietnam memorial there. It's portrayed at that Korean War memorial over there. It's portrayed at that Holocaust memorial there. And at the USS London, and at every memorial that's in this park, and in every park that's like this, in counties and towns and states that are all across this country. How dare they say we're exceptional in garbage like cheese?
Amen.
I think it's exceptional that beginning in 1941, we had young men and women all across this country of ours that left their homes, left school, ran away from high school, dropped out of college, left jobs as store clerks, mechanics, selling tickets at movie theaters. I may stumble a little bit. I didn't bring my teleprompter, so y'all have to But people left behind everything that they knew. And at that time, people still a lot of times had never left the state they were born in, maybe even the county that they were from. But they left that to go to places on this planet that they had never heard of. You think a guy probably growing up somewhere over in 96, South Carolina had ever heard of a little place called Peleliu out in the Pacific? You think some guy coming along left a job in a textile mill somewhere here in South Carolina had ever heard of a place like Guadalcanal? You think they'd ever heard of places like Bastogne? You think they'd probably never even heard of places like Pearl Harbor? But they left. They answered their call. Some did it voluntarily. Others answered when called. But they did it. They went around the world. And at the end of 1945, there were more people on this planet breathing the air of freedom, waking up as free peoples who were formerly oppressed by either fascist Nazi Germany or Imperial Japan. And we did that right in 4 years' time. as an adult later in life, and I'm no genius, but I think that's pretty exceptional. I want to talk about some exceptional South Carolinians right now. There was a project done by Public TV here in South Carolina a couple years ago, and I actually caught it on television when they were broadcasting it. They were doing some DVDs, kind of a documentary where they were talking with South Carolina veterans and getting a little bit of their story, a little bit of background information on them. And I'm going to share a few of them that I came across on that website. And these are just not even a handful, because there were approximately 184,000 South Carolinians who fought in World War II. Charles Murray, from right here in Columbia, South Carolina, born September 1921, was part of the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry Division. Colonel Charles Murray received the Medal of Honor in World War II. Charles died August 12, 2011. Hernandez from Rock Hill, South Carolina, served in the U.S. Army 18th Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division, Big Red 1, Hoo-ah. John Hernandez stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day in the second wave at Omaha Beach. He was later put on a ship headed to England. John says how he survived the invasion at Omaha Beach was pure luck. John received the French Legion of Honor. I got to get a drink of water. Hang on. It's just us. I should have known better. I should have had one up here with me. That's right. When you quit learning, you did. Okay. Leroy Bowman, Sumter, South Carolina, was born in September 1921. U.S. Army Air Corps, 332nd Fighter Squadron. For those of you that don't know, that's the Tuskegee Airmen. Wow. Leroy was an African-American. Now, you want to talk about, obviously we know now there were some things done that were not right in our country at that time, prejudices. Going to war in World War II and in any war is hard enough, but when you go and you're fighting some prejudices amongst your own citizens and getting equipment slowly that might be cut rate and not resupplied like other units might, you want to read some impressive information. You watch some documentaries on the all-black units, and you will find out some stories of real courage. And on behalf of those gentlemen, I'd just like to say that I'm glad that finally, in recent years, they've been getting the recognition that it was long deserved. That was an injustice done to those great gentlemen. And it's good to see that Leroy Bowman, Tuskegee Airmen. Doris Brandenburg from Ellery, South Carolina. She was born in August of 1919. She was a U.S. Army nurse. Doris Brandenburg took over the hospital in France and set up a ward for German POW patients. She worked at the 12th General Hospital Unit in Italy and then later worked in a hospital in North Africa. Gerald Polk. He is originally from, they have him as being from Acilla, Georgia, but he was born in Barnwell, so he's one of us. Gerald Polk jumped into Normandy on D-Day and then fought in Operation Market Garden. And anybody that knows something about history, Market Garden was a fiasco. And if those guys had jumped in there, it wasn't a picnic. He also fought at Battle of the Bulge. And apparently Gerald did not suffer from a lack of modesty, because when he was interviewed, he said it was actually me and Eisenhower who won the war. Gerald was known for his humility and sense of humor, I'm sure. Lou Fowler, from right here in Columbia, was part of the 454th Bombardment Wing. Lou Fowler was a tail gunner on a B-24. On his 24th mission, his plane was shot down. He was thrown from the plane and parachuted to the ground, where he was rescued by the Yugoslav underground before being captured by the Nazis eventually. He was beaten and tortured as a POW and witnessed executions at Auschwitz. He escaped to safety in 1944 when a group of fellow POWs escaped their prison camp and were liberated by fellow Americans.